tuning in to another exciting episode of Winnebago Wednesday, brought to you by Parlour Games Photo here at the Pirate's Den Studio. Today, the adventurous Winnebago takes you into a place where no recreational vehicle has ever gone before. After a few requests to find out more about your host with the most, we invited Taylor Wilcox. Remember him from last week's episode? He was the amazing guy with really cool hair. But we invited Taylor Wilcox back to actually conduct the interview, so we can give you what you asked for. And I do appreciate the interest in finding out about me and my music. So Taylor did a great job with the interview, and for this really kind of longer episode, because I don't shut up ever, sit back, relax, and find out more about me.
Is it called Afraid? But don't be, because it's not a scary song. Please don't be afraid of me. I'm still the same man deep inside. Please don't be afraid of me. Please don't make me run and hide. Just reach out to me. I need to feel your tender touch. Show me you still love me. Baby, it really means so much. I'm so different now. Close your eyes and I'm still the same. I still love you now. I still answer to my name. So different now. I don't blame you for how you feel, but I'm so alone now. I can't believe that this is real. I can't believe that it's real. I long to be whole again. I wish you could still see me. How I pray I could forget this, but it's in your eyes when you look at me. Who is this monster here? Oh God, can this be what it seems? I can't even look in the mirror. Why can't this all just be a dream? Please don't be afraid of me. I'm still the same man deep inside. Please don't be afraid of me. Please don't make me run and hide.
So welcome back to Winnebago Wednesday. I've got the honor of interviewing your host, Mr. Ryan, today, so this will be a bit of fun. I got a message a couple days ago asking me to do this, and I was like, hell yeah, why not? So here we are. So I got some questions here, but the first one I wanted to ask you is because I know you're crazy busy.
Yes.
How do you balance music with other obligations?
That is a really good question. Okay. So for that, I've got to turn back the clock a little bit. Go into the DeLorean and go back to when I was in, maybe 5th grade or so, grade 5. Excuse me, we're in Canada now, so I got to say that different. When I was in grade 5, maybe grade 6, I stopped being able to sleep through the night. I would sit and I would stare at my clock, this cheap little alarm clock with these red digital lights, and I remember watching them go to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 3:30, 4, and usually around 4 o'clock or so I would nod off, then my alarm went off at 6:15 so I can get up and get ready for the bus, so about 2 hours a night or so. That has been the majority of my life, and so all through high school, through college, same thing, I couldn't sleep. And so I would just get up and play on the keyboard and just spend hours doing that, and I would work 2 or 3 jobs, and it just, because I couldn't sleep and I refused to just sit and be idle. So your question, how do I do that? Actually, right now I'm in this weird stage of just crossed over into Canada. I don't have my work permit, but because I'm in the residency application process, I can't cross back to the U.S., so I can't work on either side. So my normal 50 hours a week or so that I work, I'm not working, and so I just spend time with my family, play a little bit of Zelda here and there, and
Keeps you sane.
Yeah, it keeps me sane. Yeah. And usually at nights, after the kids go to bed, about 10 o'clock or so, I head down to the studio and just play for a few hours.
Man cave. What do you call it? The Pirates Den?
The Pirates Den, that's right.
I noticed that pirates seem to be a theme in some of your titles and stuff. Where does that come from?
Yeah, so have you ever been to California?
No.
Disneyland? No. Okay.
No.
So I grew up going to Disneyland every year. That's something my parents did that was wonderful for me, and it's actually where I met my wife too, but that's a different story. Okay. But my favorite ride, absolute favorite ride, was Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland. And so just everything that I did was I really enjoyed playing with pirates, acting like a pirate when I was a kid.
Yeah. Pirate
movies, and then when I was in college, I was counseling at a camp, and at the time I had this retainer that wrapped around 2 of my bottom teeth.
Oh, fun!
So I was counseling at a camp. First day at the camp, we're up in the mountains, and there's a rattlesnake that comes out, and my boys are messing with it, and so of course this snake's pissed off, and so I grabbed a stick and I just grabbed it, and luckily there was no skill involved. I just luckily caught him right behind the head with the stick. And I held him in place and sent one of the boys back to the main cab to get a shovel so he can cut his head off. Sorry, PETA, and all of you vegans.
Vegans.
Yeah. But that was the first day of the whole week, and so I became the hero in these kids' eyes, and so they started calling me Captain Silvertooth.
Oh, okay.
Because of that. And so
that's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. And so I thought, I heard it right here. And the name stuck, and I just still have an affinity for pirates, and you can see, you guys can't see, but on the tripod here we even have our little pirate flag set up too.
I love it.
So we're Jolly Roger.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of fish stickers too.
Yes, no sharks. So I put, these stick here, I want to show our audience
do it.
So I have this, and it's on my guitar as well. It is a no sharks sticker, and the reason that I have that is ever since I've had that on my guitar and on my music stand, I have not had any shark attacks.
I would hope so.
Yeah?
I would hope so.
So
you
obviously
appear to be
it works.
in good health, so that's a good sign.
Yep.
Speaking of your family,
yes,
were they musical?
My mother, she was a hippie, and when she was a teenager, that's how my dad describes her. Is this long-haired guitar playing hippie. But she stopped playing before I was born, so I didn't get to experience any of that. Yep. I remember, like way back in in the recesses of my brain that I've heard her pick up a guitar and noodle around a little bit once or twice, but for the most part, no. And she didn't play anything else. My dad didn't play anything. I don't know. I'm very much the black sheep of the family.
So where do they begin for you there?
So, I've told the story a couple times.
Okay.
So you've met my wife, this beautiful blonde, and obviously blonde has been my thing for such a long time, because in 4th grade there was this beautiful blonde Tiana, the prettiest girl in the 4th grade, and she played violin. So my best buddy Trent and I, we both thought in the 4th grade mind that we should start playing violin too, so that way she'll like one of us. So we both started playing in orchestra, and Trent quit. Tiana didn't go for me, but I found that I loved music, and so I started playing violin, and I played it all the way through middle school, through high school, and then in high school I also picked up tenor saxophone, percussion, and piano as well. And yeah, so it's always about a girl.
Yeah, it always is, isn't it? And it sounds like you kept the music in it, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I didn't really have the ability to play sports too much. I had really bad hay fever and allergies, so I couldn't go outside. And so it was my outlet. Instead of going that direction, I turned creative, or maybe it was in me, and it just the violin was the catalyst.
I noticed in a lot of your songs there is this morose sense to them.
Yeah.
In the middle of, a lot of positive songs too as well.
Sure.
So it's like what the yin and the yang there. How does I get the feeling that maybe there's been there's some stuff there behind the lack of sleep and stuff like that. Like how does all of that negativity in your life, does that channel into your music in some way as an outlet? Maybe
that's a really good
perhaps
question.
Because of that, or is it just sort of whatever you feel?
Well, that's a very good question. Very astute as well.
Yeah.
That's actually not anything anybody's asked me. I know it's there, but I didn't think that it was that easily picked up. So
you notice it with artists or like artisty types. So and so I'm curious.
I have found that when I write, the most inspiration for me would be pain, suffering, heartache, and that's what you're hearing. When I write better when I'm having a hard time. When I'm having a great time, I usually am off doing things, I guess, and that could be it. I write a lot of comedy into my songs as well, but it's usually pretty well hidden. You have to actually be paying attention to that. But yeah, I don't know. You ever see Spinal Tap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So D minor is definitely the saddest key.
It's the saddest key, of course.
So I play a lot in D minor. But yeah, even my piano, even the stuff I write on piano is often very, very mellow and very minor.
Do you ever notice that you lean sort of one way or the other as far as like making happier songs or maybe more minor songs?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing for me right now. Is I in the past have written a lot more sad or heartbreaking songs, and I've had an interesting past few years. But now I'm pretty happy with my life, and I'm having a hard time finding that same well.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's very different for me now. I'm in a good place, and I'm happy, and it's the trade-off is I can't write music.
Yeah, it's like Tom York from Radiohead. He says that if you didn't learn how to be happy at some point, like he felt like he never would. But you see that in so many artists where that's their fuel. And I feel like once that gets taken away, you're sort of in like a desert.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
So.
But I do like to play with that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs on the last album, Never Lived in LA. It's called Snowbound Again. Now I was in the Army in the U.S. and it's definitely a song about a battle and about something that takes place. So not a lot of my friends here know anything about what I did in the Army or what that life was like. So I had somebody ask me about that song, and I was told that it was a very emotional experience listening to that and just picturing what I went through. So those are two pieces of information that have nothing to do with each other, because the truth is that song is about everything in that song is about a different part of Halo 3. So
Well,
yeah,
you get creative with it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, that shows you can get your inspiration from positive things too. And,
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No.
I love having fun. I love putting inside jokes in my music.
Yeah. You know, and I feel like that's what, you know, you use the word astute, but that's what a lot of close listeners like to hear.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's those little secrets for you.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I love that. I guess I can talk about your last album there, Never Lived in LA. So that came out in 2012.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So how long does we can use that one as an example?
Yeah.
Like how long does the production on that actually take you?
So production on that
And
one.
what does that look like, I guess?
Yeah.
So,
That particular album, that was the first one. First one that I'm actually playing guitar and singing. All of my previous albums were all instrumental,
Right.
mostly piano, but some with some patches and from my Mac and everything. But that one was the first time that I was singing and playing guitar. And it was also the first time that I licensed covers to use. So it was a little bit different for me. I had the idea of wanting to do it for quite some time, but I wasn't to the point where I felt like I was ready to do it. And so if you listen to it, or if you look at the track names or anything, you see featuring Matt Jones, featuring Brian Pachu, you know, all these different artists that I had join me for that. And that's what made it a lot of fun, is I had, just like now, I'm surrounded by a ton of talent now. I've always been blessed to be surrounded by so much talent. And it was fun just bringing friends in and doing things here and there. So, you know, I've always had a little studio in my houses, and so we would just do the multi-tracks, or lay down one track at a time, and then bring somebody in to add on top of that.
I'm so jealous.
And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
So it's a very like collaborative sort of endeavor in ways. Because I noticed that at least maybe a quarter of the songs on that album featured another artist.
Yeah.
Now, when you do that, are they mainly laying down instrumentals, or how are they assisting in the creative process?
So I've only had somebody sing with me a couple of times. The next studio album, I think I'm going to have that a little bit more. It took me a really long time to be comfortable with my voice. I've been singing and doing shows for almost 20 years now, and I didn't think I sounded decent until maybe 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
if you got any tricks, let me know.
Really, it was just I was playing open mics all the time. I was living in Atlanta, and same thing. There was nothing else for me to do. I moved there. I left my family behind. I moved to Atlanta to take a job, and while looking for a place to live and buy a house and everything, my family stayed here, and so I had nothing else to do. So I started hitting open mics and met some great people. I just played night after night after night, and then from there, I haven't seen it so much here, but from there, the venues that do open mics, they would host it. They would have open mics Sunday through Wednesday, and they would choose who they have for their weekend gigs, who they would pay for their weekend gig bookings.
That's a good idea.
From that, yeah. Yeah, it's a really good system.
It's like competitive in a way.
It's very common there too.
Yeah.
And so you would want to go to those open mics because you'd want them to hear you and then pick you up for $500 night at the bar or whatever. So so I ended up getting to play a lot, and I was actually getting gigs before I thought I sounded any good. So it's all subjective, thankfully. So other these bar managers or owners liked what I had, even though I didn't. So good for them.
Yeah, no, and that's the curse of being an artist, I guess,
Sure.
we're all perfectionists.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
perfectionists, and it sinks you.
Mhm.
It really does sink you. And yeah, if you got any tips on avoiding that, let me know, because that's a tricky one.
The worst thing, even now, the worst thing is playing into headphones. If I'm singing into headphones, if I'm singing into headphones, I'm like, no, I'm done. I hate this. But if I just take them off and I sing into the open and record it, I play it back for myself. It sounds completely different than it does in my ears when I use the headphones.
So it's like you have the process nailed down to something that works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's so important, especially in a recording setting where you want that comfort, and it must help being able to do it in your own home.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yes, it does.
Especially too.
It does.
So.
I haven't met the neighbors yet. I'm sure they hate me, but
Good.
I'm having a good time.
You know what? As long as you're having fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So with all the moving and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you know, how does that come into play in your music? Because not only are you busy, but you're bouncing around, and
Right.
you would have had a whole lot of areas to sort of pick up that musical energy that's coming from it. You know, so how does that sort of come out in what you enjoy and what you do in music?
I was playing very heavily when I lived in Atlanta, and then something happened there with family, and I had to end up moving back to California, to Fresno particularly. You know, not being from there, I know you don't know the area, but Fresno, where our family was, there's a decent art scene, decent music scene, but it's not anywhere to the level of where it was in Atlanta, and you can't be supported as a musician there, which then really whittles down the people that have the time or the resources to play. So I lost a lot of that community, that music community that I had there, and then life circumstances happened here and there, and I ended up putting my music down for a while, and I never really thought that I'd pick it back up again. And then we came up here last year, and I found that this area is just ripe with talent and art and people who love to create, and it's great. And heck, you were one of the many things. It's just you get inspiration from those that are around you doing what they love and creating art, and so you're part of my inspiration. Like Caden is, Holly is, you know, everybody that I'm around, and there's so much talent around here, and it just feeds into each other.
Yeah, and I feel like there's no other way to sort of grow as a musician or an artist or as a person unless you come into contact with communities of people.
Right.
At least in my life, nothing has transformed me more than the small senses of community that I've gotten from different groups and stuff like that. And that's why, like, when I see a person doing a project like this, it's like, okay, we gotta fan that flame as much as we can. And so, when did the idea to do this sort of initially pop up?
That's a really good question. I was on a TV show in Fresno quite a few times. There was a public access TV show, and then they streamed it. Then they put it on YouTube. That was the process for Central Valley Talk in Fresno. But they had me as a guest quite a few times, playing music or with my photography, and I really liked that setup. I really liked the idea of introducing others to the rest of the world, and I did that a lot in Atlanta too, because I thankfully had a full-time job and I had resources, but I was a little bit older and I was a bit more tech savvy than a lot of the other younger musicians that were out there. It was about 10 or 11 years ago, so it's not like it is now where everybody has an iPhone. iPhones were brand new right there, so a lot of the new artists didn't know how to get their stuff out there. You know, so, wow, how do you get on YouTube? You know, what's this MySpace thing? Can you help me with that? So having access to the equipment that I did, I bought a couple video cameras, and I helped get a couple artists out, get their information out there and their music out there, and then I ended up doing a demo CD. I took like 15 different artists that I had met, and had them each submit a song, and then put a demo CD together and took that to all the bars and say, hey, look, if you're looking to hire anybody off this list, here's their contact information, this is what they sound like. And doing that helped them, and it also helped me. And so it really, I would say it's kind of self-serving, but really it's just all doing it all for each other.
I was going to say, you must get something from this.
From this, I do it because I love it. I mean, I guess the best thing that I get is I get exclusive tracks. So you were my guest last week, and so I've got exclusive Taylor tracks that nobody else has access to.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
No, I guess it's you get an interesting crowd in here already, and you've been here for not even half a year. Not even half a year. You know, so that's really cool, because it's like in a short period of time you've managed to gather a pretty fancy dancy looking pool of talent. You know what I mean? And tell me how do you approach asking musicians to even come here? Like what do you notice in them that makes you sort of sparks you?
Yeah, no, that's also a really good question, because I've had a few people ask me to be on the show, and they were also talented musicians as well. But for me, it's not so much that no, you're not good enough to be on the show. It's no, it doesn't feel with what we're doing this season. Like we did the first season of Winnebago Wednesday, which was kind of random and scattered, and then we started season 2 with Jessica. I think you were the third guest on that one, and the 8th. But for season 2, it was very much centered around I guess a certain sound, and it's kind of hard to say. I know we were talking about that a little bit before we started filming, because everybody does sound different, but there's also a commonality that I can't even place myself, but I hear it, and Amy hears it too, and I'll record a little bit on my phone if she's not with me, and I'm like, hey, listen to this. I'm gonna get this person. Have you met him? No, but no, we're gonna film them next week.
Nice.
Trust me.
Well, there you go.
And it's worked out, and it's
flying by the seat of your pants.
Yeah.
It's working.
Because I don't do this. I don't really do this in any way that serves me, I guess. I've definitely put more money and more energy into this than anything I've gotten out of it. And so my motives are more pure than if I were doing this as a business to try and sell my new hair tonic or something, you know. So it makes it easier to, I guess for me, to be more comfortable, because I'm not a salesperson. If I don't believe in what I'm doing, there's no way I would be able to convince you, hey, come be a part of this. But this is great. This is sharing talent to the rest of the world. And I have found up here in BC, with the musicians anyway, I've found that there is not a sense of competition as far as like getting gigs or things. It's more of, hey, you're doing this, let me help you with that because I've done this before. Yeah. For instance, Ari, who's going to be our guest next week, he's got this stomp box that he uses for his percussive stuff. And I've been trying to figure out how to build that without it collapsing for about 1.5 years now, far before I ever met him. And so I talked to him about it. Say, hey, Ari, this is the problem that I'm having, and what did you use for this? And oh yeah, well, here's this and this and this. And he told me the dimensions of everything and how he got it to work, whereas some of his earlier times failed. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. That solves that problem for me. But I've seen that with everything, with every musician that I've come in contact with. It's not, hey, I want to be better than you, so I'm not going to share my secrets. It's, hey, let's do this. Let's build this together. I'll make you better so you can make me better.
Very community based.
Very, very much so.
And reciprocal too.
Reciprocal.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I noticed on one of the songs on the album, Love, Life, and Anything Between. Yes. You get some electric guitar in there.
Yeah.
So what instruments do you play?
Well, once upon a time I played violin, not so much anymore. And thankfully, here in BC, we have Jenny Bice that plays the fiddle, and she plays in like 20 different bands. I got to take you out to meet her. You're going to love her. Awesome. But I'm going to leave the fiddle to her. But I play currently. I play tenor sax, percussion, keyboard, and guitar was actually my last instrument that picked up. And
Seriously?
that was a fluke. Yeah.
I gotta hear some of your sax.
Yeah.
Or do I want to? I guess.
It's a little rusty. It's
Okay.
a little rusty, but I think I still do okay.
There you go.
It's actually a reggae band.
I think it
that
would
hit me up
match.
to
It would
play.
match you with your outfit and
Right.
hat and everything. It would look good.
I actually have a really cool story about my sax playing.
Sure.
I was. I know we're running out of time here.
Go for it. Yeah.
But,
Go for it.
I was in Atlanta, and I was approached by somebody who was. It's not casting, but basically, she was the person in charge of building the band for a touring artist.
Right. Okay.
And so I was asked to play tenor sax on the Europe-Asia tour for Michael Jackson, and I couldn't do it. I said no, and I went home and I said, hey, I was asked this, but I said no because I didn't think that I'd be able to, and I was called every form of the word stupid that you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
You've never had this opportunity again. So that was my cool story with the tenor sax.
Damn, Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
Not bad.
yeah.
I think getting short on time here, but one thing I do need to hear is what is one of your fondest musical memories? Because I find that to get inspired by music again, it's good to go back to sort of the roots of where you start to enjoy
Sure.
it and the good memories associated with it. So what is one of your fondest
Okay.
musical memories before I let you go?
That would be as soon as I got out of high school, I started working with youth group at my church,
Okay.
and I was heavily involved with the drama team and built this little touring drama team that we took from place to place, different churches and different events and all that, and put on skits and fun stuff like that. We did a huge show, and I had this idea in the show that I wanted to create what appeared to be an intermission, but was not.
Okay.
And so we actually called this number interim. And so what we had a bunch of like empty barrels on stage and all of these little things. And there was somebody that was known for being kind of clumsy, Derek. I love Derek, but he was known for being clumsy. He started it off by walking across the stage and tripped and knocked over a bunch of buckets and water bottles.
Okay.
Started stacking them into place, and then here and there, people started realizing that it was a rhythm, that he was doing it. And so, anyway, to jump back, this one sketch, this interim, which is, and we did this before Stomp was a thing, but we built this Stomp-like production, the Stomp-like number in the middle of all of these drama sketches.
Okay, there you go.
That we did just with a bunch of actors. So I got to write that and we got to perform it. And actually, I'll put the link on it to this video too, because it's really, really cool. But it was so much fun. It's just taking a bunch of actors. Derek and I were the only ones with any sort of music ability whatsoever, and just building this whole choreographed surprise percussive number.
Well, there you go.
And it was very cool.
Not bad. And I always find that, uncoincidentally, a lot of really great musical memories involve other people.
Yeah.
And this is maybe an extension of that sort of social aspect of music.
Sure.
It gathers a lot of great people.
Definitely.
Such as, that's why we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, I'm glad I got to interview you. I
Yeah,
had a good
thank you
time,
very much.
And,
I appreciate it.
I hope all you guys enjoyed it. I mean, he's your host. Be interested. Be interested.
Exactly.
Damn it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Now, play some music.
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
Excellent.
Cool.
Today's episode is brought to you not by the letter Q, but by Parlour Games Photo. Parlour Games Photo is an amazing photo booth company that services the Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, and the Okanagan, and they do a great job. They bring out their custom photo booth that they built. They set up props that are designed for your event, and they do the prints right on the spot there. So your guests have a great time, everyone's having fun, and the great thing about it is their prices are amazing and reasonable and wonderful. Their staff is wonderful. Everything about them is great. So please check out Parlour Games Photo for your next birthday party, graduation, funeral, zucchini casserole, whatever this momentous event is that you want to invite people over for. Give them a call.
Song is called Hurricane. Insert snarky comment. No matter how many times that you told me you wanted to leave, no matter how many breaths that you took and you still couldn't breathe, no matter how many nights that you lie wide awake to the sound of the poison rain, where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Tell me, would you kill to save her life? Tell me, would you kill to prove you're right? Crash, crash, burn, let it all burn. This hurricane's chasing us all underground. No matter how many deaths that I die, I will never forget. No matter how many lives that I live, I will never regret. There is a fire inside of this heart, a riot about to explode into flames. Where is your God? Where is your God? Where is your God? Do you really want? Do you really want me? Do you really want me dead or alive to torture for my sins? Do you want? Do you really want me? Do you really want me dead or alive to live a life? Tell me, would you kill to save her life? Tell me, would you kill to prove you're right? Crash, crash, burn, let it all burn. This hurricane's chasing us all underground. Underground. Underground, underground. The promises we made were not enough. The prayers that we have prayed were like a drug. The secrets that we sold were never known. We had to let it go. Tell me, would you kill to save her life? Tell me, would you kill to prove you're right? Crash, crash, burn, let it all burn. This hurricane's chasing us all underground. Do you really want? Do you really want me? Do you really want me dead or alive to torture for my sins? Do you want? Do you really want me? Do you really want me dead or alive to live a life? Tell me, would would you kill to save a life? Tell me, would you kill to prove you're right? Crash, crash, burn, let it all burn. This hurricane's chasing us all underground.
Thank you for watching Winnebago Wednesday. Our goal, as we've been doing, is to introduce new talent to the greater world by letting you hear some of their amazing music and getting to know a little bit about the artists behind the music. We do this out of passion because I've been there. I've been that artist trying to get my name out there, and we absolutely love the music that we bring in and the artists that we bring in. So what we would like to ask for is if you are interested in sponsoring an episode of Winnebago Wednesday. We would love to have you bring one of these artists out and be responsible for that, and we'll definitely thank you and put your name out there, and you can be associated with the new talent such as what you've seen today being put out to the greater world. So we would love your sponsorship, we would love your help, and these artists would love to have you be a part of kickstarting their career. Thank you very much.
The last song is called Johnny's Ghost, which the first song was called Afraid, and I told you not to be afraid then, but if you're afraid of ghosts, then this makes sense, I guess. There were guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. There were guns and drums and drums and guns, hooroo, hooroo. There was Kathy there alone, I fear, when her brother went out to slay. Darling dear, you look so queer, for Johnny we hardly knew ya. On the 1st of March he took his gun, hooroo, hooroo. On the 1st of March he tracked you down, hooroo, hooroo. You fired the shot, you bit the dust. Poor Kathy, she cried, a victim of lust. Darling dear, you look so queer, for Kathy, she hardly knew ya. Hey there, Johnny, now how you been? I see you hanging round. You're looking mighty pale, and then your eyes cast on the ground. Oh, hey there, Johnny, now how you been? I heard a young man boast. He shot you down one morning, and you're now Johnny's ghost. Oh, hey there, Johnny, we loved you, boy, but you've been playing around. You brought the wrath of the husbands, the wives you spun around. Oh, hey there, Johnny, you weren't so bad, can make you into two. To dance a jig with Johnny, that's all they asked of you. Well, to a lie, you brought the husband's scorn. You had the lovers overnight and disappeared at dawn. Well, to a lie, drinking here's a toast. Here's to drunken Irishmen, and here's to Johnny's ghost. Well, hey there, Johnny, your mama cried, I hear you messing around. You left poor Kathy pregnant and ran for higher ground. Now Kathy's older brother got the first gun he could find. He tracked you down one morning with murder on his mind. Well, to a lie, oh Kathy, she didn't mourn. She's screaming for you, Johnny, the babe's about to be born. Oh, to a lie, drinking here's a toast. Here's to drunken Irishmen, and here's to Johnny's ghost. To a lie, oh Kathy, she didn't mourn. She's screaming for you, Johnny, the babe's about to be born. Oh, to a lie, drinking here's a toast. Here's to drunken Irishmen, and here's to Johnny's ghost. Well, it was early that morning when Kathy's brother stepped into the street. Johnny just stood there waiting, staring at his feet. And in his mind he said a prayer, cried Kathleen as he fell. And a message on his tombstone reads, he took that bullet well. Well, to I'd sooner hear the sound. And here's Kathy's brother who puts you in the ground. Oh, to a light drink and here's the toast. Here's your drunken Irishman and here's your Johnny's ghost. Here's your drunken Irishman and here's your Johnny's ghost. Here's your drunken Irishman and here's your Johnny's ghost.
Thank you for tuning in this week. I hope all of your questions were answered. If not, feel free to comment your questions below or tweet them to me at CPT Silvertooth, and I will be happy to answer whatever you'd like to know. Make sure you tune in next week. We have a very, very special episode by Ari Neufeld, who you don't want to miss. So thank you very much, and have a above mediocre, but if you don't want to really reach for the stars, maybe not a great week, but if you want to go for it, you have a great week. Goodbye. Welcome to another exciting episode of Winnebago Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in today. We have...
Okay. And you tell me when you're good to go.
Whenever you are.
Okay.
Thank you for watching this episode, and thank you for tuning in this week, and I hope you're inquisitive. Bye. Cut. 30 minutes.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't shut up.
Hey, you know,
There was